So, shoot your shot time. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's back. Just like that. Okay, so first matchup. We've got Matt versus Matt. Ooh. Rooted at the bottom of the table. Hopefully they can pick up some wins for once. Yeah, that was a low blow. And we've got Jord deciding this one. Jord, are you good with timing and reading out the question? All good with that?
Yep. So, guys, you got 1 minute on this one, as usual. Standard. Your question for this week. Obviously, throughout the NBA, a lot of names have been mentioned and big trades have gone down. Currently, since the Harden trade, the big names being mentioned are Levine, Larry, and of course, Beal. But my question to you guys is, what under-the-radar player should teams be looking at drafting? Okay.
Trading.
Is there anyone who would like to go first?
I can take it.
Yeah. Okay. Your time starts now.
So I'm going to back one of my own players from my own teams, and I'm going to go to a team that is pretty atrocious right now. That's only won 1 in their last 10, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers and their star point guard, Colin Sexton. Now, you may think that the Cavs are going to build their future team around Colin Sexton. They may be. That might be their idea for him. But there's plenty of teams in the NBA right now who are looking for someone who is a reliable scorer. Sexton's averaging just under 23 points a game, off 49% shooting from the field and 42% from the three, 80% from the line as well. Pretty decent. He hit his career high, 42 points, in that amazing victory against the Nets, in which KD, Kyrie, and Harden were just blown away by his performance. And he's a 3-level scorer as well. He scores 25% of the time from at the rim. He scores 25% of the time from mid-range, and then another 20% from three-pointer. He's the perfect man for all these teams like the Heat, etc., that just need an extra
time.
Cut me off in my flow.
That little Heat dig at the end.
Yeah. Trying to get the dig in my brain.
Yeah, the Heat haven't got enough.
Frey, you ready?
Yeah.
Your time starts now.
So for this one, I'm going to be a homer. It's not Zach LaVine. It's Lauri Markkanen. He was lauded as the next Dirk Nowitzki, Porzingis type in his first and second seasons. He's surprisingly athletic. He regressed in his third season. Everyone went, who is this guy? He's not that good. I don't think he's the guy of the future. And he's quietly come back. You wouldn't really know because it's all about the Zach LaVine show. It's averaging 19.6 on 52% from the field and 40% from behind the line. He is not the second best player on a team. If he's your third or fourth best player, that is a recipe for success for a contender. And you want the kind of guy that can stretch the floor at the 4 position. And you can get him cheap because everyone's after Zach LaVine. You could put him in the package with Zach LaVine, or you could say, well, you're trading away Zach LaVine, you're blowing it up. We'll just get Lauri Markkanen off you. He's cheaper than Sexton. You probably wouldn't have to give up a lot of or anything like that. And also from the Bulls' perspective, he's a Garpax pick.
So glad you've come home, man. Brian must be so happy.
And you forgot, in terms of comparisons, you forgot about the Flying Dutchman, Rick Smits.
Ooh, okay. So 2 very great arguments there. Very, very tough to decide. I might pull an Ed and ask the audience.
Nah, I'm not falling for this.
I'm not losing to this again.
No,
I lost to this bullshit last week.
See what you've done.
No. You can't just ask for our advice and then, I'm just going to pick the other thing. No, it don't work like that.
Absolutely not. No, we all got trust issues now.
No.
Okay. So obviously, Sexton, that point guard position, he's a dog on the defensive end. Like, I gotta love him and respect him for that. And yeah, the things which he does on the court, and you saw him against that Nets game. Like, massive plays there. Marketing, again, watching him play, you can see how much he contributes towards the Bulls team on in big games and stuff, and you can see the impact he leaves when he is off the court. My only question mark with that, which might turn it off, would be his injuries, which he seems to keep getting, which I think teams might be wary of. However, saying that, with the Colin Sexton thing, him being in the starter position, to see him either with the guard position being so heavy, seeing him drop back and down a bit, I'm not sure how he might take that. So I think my final decision, which is a tough one, I'm gonna give it to Bray. I'll give it to Bray.
Bro, that was so tense.
Yeah.
It's a proper X Factor
doing,
build up.
Jay?
It's like, yeah, and Larry Markins had a previous really tough background. It's like, what's going on here?
Break it to me, easy.
That was a
Brett-
tough one. That was a close one.
That was really tough. I wasn't expecting that one to be that tough. I thought, oh yeah, trades. It'll be easy. It'll be simple. Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
So Bray takes first the win in the first matchup.
Well done, Bray. Good argument.
Well, Bray.
Yeah.
Ed and I are facing off in the second matchup, and Wildy is hosting this question. So, Joe Wild.
Absolutely. There we go. So, Ed versus Alex, you know the rules, a minute to talk. With the basketball documentary called The Last Dance, obviously celebrating the Bulls dynasty, which came out last March during the first lockdown. There has since been a documentary about Tony Parker and another one about Stephon Marbury. Prior to that as well, just shout out, there was the Carter Effect as well, which was another good one. But what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think, or what would you like to see be the next big sports documentary to come up? So I'm going to go, Jar, I'm going to reward winning. House Lasky, you got number one spot. So I'm going to let you go first. You can have a minute. And then I'll give you the hand signals. I'm going to give you the 5 count on that. And I'll give you
I've got the timer. I've got the timer anyway. I'm prepared.
do you?
Man's prepared.
Oh, well, I'll die. I'll count you in.
We're strictly business here. We're strictly business here in House.
What is this? Deflate gate. He's trying to rig
Yeah.
the timing system.
I've got trust issues. As Wildy said, we've all got trust issues here.
All right. So, going 3, 2, 1.
So this is an ambitious idea, but I will call it passing the torch. Now, why passing the torch? This is going to look at the 2008 Olympic squad and the 2012 Olympic squad. Now, there are 4 players who are on both teams, and we're going to highlight 2 of them, Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant and Mr. LeBron James. And passing the torch, just like the passing of the Olympic torch as it goes on from city to city. I would like to see a 6-year time period, so just before the 2008 Olympics and just after the 2012. So 2006 season to 2013, 6 years. Funny enough, LeBron reached 3 finals and Kobe reached 3 finals. And funny enough, they both went 1 and 2. So you had Kobe's last 3 finals year, and you had LeBron's 3 finals years. So I would like to see a documentary of how those Olympic teams, how that shaped the rest of the NBA and what that led to in the finals, because we all know that part of the big 3 coming together with Miami, part of that was set in the 2008 Olympics with LeBron and Wade. So that is my documentary. I want to see passing the torch from 04 Olympics to 08 Olympics to 012.
Very crispy argument. Fantastic. You reckon, would you like a segment in there about how Dwight Howard single-handedly ruined the NBA finals that never happened between LeBron and Kobe?
No, I love it because obviously I'm a Magic guy. I loved it.
Oh, of course you.
Don't bother me.
All right, okay, here we go. So, Alex, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So I personally think a documentary is much more effective when it's something that you saw on the surface, but there really isn't that much information. So I'm going to do pitch for ESPN 30 for 30 Lob City about the Los Angeles Clippers. Plot starts off with the unsuccessful history, always in the Lakers' shadow, and then it goes into the hope of drafting number 1 pick and the rise of Blake Griffin, arrival of Chris Paul, and the emergence of Lob City with DJ. Then you talk about the lack of punch in the playoffs, losing 4 straight to Memphis in 2013. The Chris Paul turnover game in the Thunder Game 5, the 3-1 lead and choke against the Rockets when Game 6, when James Harden was on the bench. And then you've also got the locker room pettiness and the lack of chemistry and the issues that were never solved. And then with all of that going on, you add Donald Sterling to the pot, refusing to trade for JJ Redick because he was white, famous dinner parties where he showcased Blake, and most importantly, the incident. And then you also talk about the Rockets and the Clippers tunnel war off. That is what I'm pitching.
Interesting. That's awesome. That's 2 really good ideas there. I really like both takes. I think you set up nicely, Alex, with in terms of surface level. You know all the big stuff, but what's the nitty gritty under everything? That certainly that was definitely one of the best elements about the Last Dance documentary, if you take it to the question that I asked. Obviously, covering potential GOATs, players in the game, and obviously wanted there as well. Both of your arguments were really solid, and in terms of the amount of points that you guys made, I actually had you dead even. And so I'm probably going to go with the one that I would like to see the most. And so I am giving this one to House Lasky. But that was awesome. I want to watch both of them, and I hope they both happen. But yeah, see.
One thing I'll say is that with like podcasts and everything happening nowadays, like I think we sort of know what's been happening, what was happening with the Clippers.
There was the Sterling one. That was a really interesting podcast
the
series.
Sterling
Video.
one,
I'll have to listen
definitely.
to it.
Yeah.
But we don't have information from the players, and the whole concept of this whole Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, to have them in a room talk about this whole pettiness that their teammates have talked about, is something that I really want to happen, because that team should have won a championship.
Yeah.
As long as they talk about police presence, I'm all for it.
I get the
It's
reference.
about when they call the police in the locker room. Yeah.
As long as they reference that.
The tunnel war. That'll be it. That'll be at the end.
Was Matt Barnes on the Clippers when he like did he get into a fight with Derek Fisher?
Oh,
Yeah.
he must have been on the Clippers. I think he must have been on the
I think
Clippers.
he was. They just had a plethora of small forwards, and they just couldn't fill that position in the best way to get them to win a chip. But yeah, the mad thing is that the biggest thing about that is Blake, because it was Blake's team. He was the guy. Chris came in and said, "Nah, man, I'm the orchestrator. It's my team." That obviously hurt Blake's feelings and stuff like that. And then the emergence of DeAndre and some of the dunks that he pulled off. There were people saying some people were saying that DeAndre was a better dunker than Blake, and it was like, so there was just 2 slights towards Blake, which just fueled the fire in that locker room, as Alex was talking about, man. So that it will be so interesting. I genuinely love both those ideas, man.
So Bray and Ed take the win on Shoot Your Shot. Pass the Rock, something we brought a few weeks ago. We're bringing it back. And obviously, Pass the Rock is about comparing an NBA player to a famous musician. So the 2 people that I want to compare this week and want to debate with you guys after is Kyrie Irving and Lauryn Hill. So I've brought this into 3 different sections. So the first section is team success and individual success. So with Kyrie, when LeBron returned home, he won a championship in 2016. In the Cavs, when they had a big 3 with LeBron and Kevin Love. And they also went to the finals 4 years in a row. Individually, Kyrie won Rookie of the Year in 2012. He exploded onto the scene, had a great first year, and then he went more viral when he sat Brandon Knight down in that All-Star, in the Rising Stars game He's also a six-time All-Star and won All-Star Game MVP in 2014, All-NBA second team 2019, third team in 2015, won gold at the Rio Olympics in 2016. Lauryn Hill, if you guys don't know, she was a part of the Fugees with Wyclef Jean and Pross. They only released 2 albums, but they were extremely successful. The most successful was the latter, which was The Score. So this won 2 Grammys for Best Rap Album and then Killing Me Softly as a Best R&B Vocal Performance. Also on that album was Ready or Not, you guys probably know it, and a rendition of No Woman, No Cry. And Lauryn Hill, in terms of individual, she only released 1 album, but what an album it was, because it won Album of the Year and won Best R&B Album at the Grammys in 1999. She also won Best New Artist just by herself and went number 1 in the US and number 2 in the UK. The second point I've got between these two people is that they're outspoken. So Kyrie led the charge against the bubble in Disney. He said, "I don't support going into Orlando," claiming he's not with systematic racism, as it provided distraction to the Black Lives Matter movement occurring at the same time. So Kyrie went consecutive days without talking to Cavs teammates in July 2017. The reason behind this is because he wanted to be a more focal point and the franchise player. And then more recently, we obviously discussed he disappeared for a number of games this season with the Nets for unknown reasons. This was later confirmed. He wasn't partying with Drake, he was celebrating a family member's birthday. Lauryn Hill stepped away from music after that first album, saying that she felt uninspired. Money isn't a driving force for her. And she has to feel inspired to create because that's where energy comes from. And then in 2000, which is 2 years after that album dropped, she dropped out of the public eye. And she later stated she had to confront her fears of basically being Black, young and gifted within the Western culture. And she wanted to retain her identity. Throughout her career, she's gone on many of a hiatus, showing up late for tour dates and even served time in jail for tax evasion. The third and final point is talent. Kyrie, one of the best ball handlers of all time, can finish as well around the rim with both hands. An exceptional one-on-one player that's made one of the most clutch shots in NBA histories and one of the best series of all time. It really showcases how the NBA has become popular due to the excitement of a guard-heavy league. Lauryn Hill, the first woman to win 5 or more awards at the Grammys, the first hip-hop album to win Album of the Year, and she was the first superstar, believe it or not, before Drake, to really master combining R&B with hip-hop. And her influence continues to be sampled by standout artists to this day, including Drake, her, and Cardi B. So that wraps up my argument. I just wanted your guys' thoughts on that.
That is
Nice. Yeah.
cracking comparison.
I think I think the one thing is that obviously Kyrie's still in the prime of his career. It'll be interesting to see it. Obviously, you mentioned Lauryn Hill's impact post-career. Well, Lauryn after her peak and what she's influenced now to the younger audience. It'll be definitely interesting to see how the future NBA stars, how they sort of take to Kyrie after he retires.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, I love it. Just another point on Kyrie. As you said, he's like one of the best one-on-one players. I think one of the things with him is he's one of the best players with... He's so good at like halfway through a motion, he'll like halfway post up, give him like half a spin move, and then hit a fadeaway shot. It's the craziest thing ever because he goes from like facing you up, putting his back to you, and then all of a sudden the ball's in the air and it's going in. Just unbelievably talented. And I think just because of some of the off-court stuff, he's weirdly a little bit underrated. Given what he can do with the basketball and what he has accomplished.
I think I'm about to throw my nickname here because I like it, but Lauryn Hill has got the MVP, the pinnacle of success, and Kyrie doesn't. He's got the big shot, but he hasn't been able to do it over an entire season or an entire album, and I think that's just the biggest thing. He wasn't able to concentrate for long enough to put it all together, and he wasn't able to kind of elevate himself to that point. To be fair, it's still a really good comparison, but I think that's where I say Lauryn Hill's really aced it. They've both got the silky smooth vocals and the silky smooth movements as well, though. So I do like the comparison.
I would say that, I mean, ultimately you are right, but my counter for Kyrie's individual success is you could argue that Kyrie's performance when he first came to Cleveland, without LeBron being there, Kyrie's performance and his potential as a superstar player was one of the main reasons that LeBron James came back to play with him. So Kyrie's talent in itself brought LeBron back, got into the finals, and put himself in that position where he was able to hit a big shot, to win a championship ring. So although that's not a traditional way of measuring it, given that it's all about the championships and the rings, I get that. But I think I just that would be my way to take that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Bray on that, but still, what you mentioned as well, Wildy, is also a fair point. Like if you can definitely see all those similarities which he made throughout their careers, which I really enjoyed. But if you're looking at it deeply, you do have that accolade aspect, but you definitely see all those similarities to the times where they took the breaks and the times off and how they contribute to the local area and things which are important to them in their country. You can definitely see that also within the type of impact they have had on the industry. How you look back on how rappers either feature Lauryn Hill songs in their current albums and such, and then athletes kind of trying to mirror the way Kyrie's playing, coming up athletes as well.
Yeah, that would be my one counter, is the influence of Kyrie 10, 15, 20 years from now going to be as big as the influence that Lauryn Hill has had? Possibly not, but I do agree with a lot of the points, Alex.
Both New Jersey kids as well, which is kind of cool.
I did not know that. Yeah, so I'll be back again with another comparison, or if somebody else thinks it is, maybe I'm going to look for my own Drake on this list, and I'm going to try and include someone British as well. I think for a bit of relevancy, but yeah. Personally, I think Kyrie and Lauren.
Question for you, though,
close.
Alex. I don't know Lauryn Hill that well. I'm sure you know her better. Does she have an Uncle Drew movie moment?
Yeah, Alex has just got her on speed now. Like they chat all the time.
When you meet, as in like the commercial and the
like the film, like the terrible film. Does she have one of those? Because I don't know if she does.
She's very outspoken, and she said some, like she's served time in jail. She's also got 5 kids with Bob Marley's kid as well, which is like really left field, and they've had a very like on and off relationship. That was something I was reading into. But yeah, she's cool, but she's very much, I think where I saw their similarities is that they're very much people that are like, they won't stick by the book. Like if they don't think something's right, they're like, I'm not part of this. Like I've got bigger stuff to handle. Like I don't really need to do this. And they're very much like outspoken that way. But yeah, cool.
Yeah. Does she believe the earth is flat as well?
Oh.
I'm joking.
No,
but it'll be interesting to see if Kyrie goes in that same direction of Lauren, where he just gets to the point in his career where it's like, nah, I'm done. I'm moving on to this and something which is more important to me. Because I think we're starting to see signs of that going forward, like with all that he's saying.
It's like he's bored or something. I mean, I don't know if Lauren's out here saging the stage before she goes on, but
I don't think she turns up to tour dates,
Yeah.
I mean, same as Kyrie this season. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. But if you guys haven't listened to Miseducation Lauryn Hill, go check it out. So that wraps up the 6th man. We've covered a lot. We've done, so that's our 3rd time round of all the divisions. So we'll be heading back with the Atlantic and Pacific for the 4th time. So that is, we've got through a lot. So as we head into our 10th week, House Lasku still rules the roost. He's got a very unassailable lead. Hopefully, he picks up a couple more elves. I might have to bring back the picture up again. But yeah,
The only thing I'm worried about is who I'm going to take with my 7th pick. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
you are like this panel's Kenny Smith, right?
Oh, please don't do that to me.
Run through the tape in life, right? So yeah, wraps up 6th man for this week. We'll be back same time next week to discuss everything Atlantic and Pacific and some more Shoot Your Shot, I hope. All right, peace out.
Peace.
See ya.